Bash, iterating over lines in a variable. How does one properly iterate over lines in Bash, either in a variable, or from the output of a command? Simply setting the ifs variable to a new line works for the output of a command, but not when processing a variable that contains new lines. For example, this gives the output. As you can see, echoing the variable or iterating over the cat command prints each of the lines one by one correctly. However, the first for loop prints all the items on a single line. Any ideas?
With Bash, if you want to embed new lines in a string, enclose the string with $. And if you have such a string already in a variable, you can read it line by line with Wheeler makes a good point about adding a trailing new line. Suppose the variable ends with a new line. Then the while loop outputs. To get around that, use a redirection from a process substitution instead of a here string. But now this fails for strings without a trailing new line. The read documentation says, the exit status is 0, unless end of file is encountered. And because the input does not end with a new line, EOF is encountered before read can get a whole line. Read exits non-zero and the while loop completes. The characters are consumed into the variable though. So, the absolutely proper way to loop over the lines of a string is this outputs the expected for both $list and $list2.
You can use while plus read. BTW. The E option to echo is non-standard. Use printf instead, if you want portability.
Here's a funny way of doing your for loop. A little more sensible / readable would be but that's all too complex. You only need a space in there. Your $line variable doesn't contain new lines. It contains instances of, followed by n. You can see that clearly with the substitution is replacing those with spaces, which is enough for it to work in for loops. Demo.
If you want to support the channel, please consider